We asked you to pick these ingredients. How did you come up with the Crêpes Fitzgerald?
It was my honeymoon. I went to New Orleans for a honeymoon. We knew we had to go to breakfast at Brennan's.
Yeah.
So our big splurge was breakfast at Brennan's, and the waiter said it recommended the Crêpes Fitzgerald for dessert.
Yeah.
And we had the eggs Benedict, traditional, thank God.
Not the escoffier.
No.
Yeah.
I was just enchanted. It's just enchanting. It's just when he brought that dish to the table side, and he started it was enchanting. And then he flamed it, and I almost fell out of my chair. So anyway, it became, because it is so easy.
Yeah.
It's creative. It makes people get involved, and that's part of my life, is getting people involved, participating.
Yeah. My Irish grandfather was a baker. And he was a baker in World War II on a ship in the Navy. And he was the ship's baker. And I still have all of his recipes. I ended up ultimately being a cook in the Navy myself. That's where I started. So my grandpa was a baker his whole life. And I don't know how to bake at all. I'm horrible at baking. I'm horrible at anything to do with
Now that
flour
you
and
have
sugar.
to follow instructions.
You gotta follow instructions. But whenever I have to try to impress somebody with a dessert, I do something with fruit and something that's flambéed. So because it's so impressive, and you get to hide your
piece of cake.
I get to hide my ineptitude. But one of the things that I always tell our chefs when they're coming to work with us is that we're never going to be as good of cooks as the people that you're cooking for. And one of the things that reminds me of that when I'm trying to cook at home, my mom thinks I'm the best chef in the world. But then any holiday that comes up and I try to do the prime rib, I'm doing it wrong. The rest of the year, everything is perfect.
Well, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's tradition. It's tradition.
It's tradition.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't replicate it.
That's
because
right.
There's a special ingredient that only she has.
And that's what I'm really interested to learn from you with this. Is there what are your must-haves?
My main thing is the crepes themselves, and I use a 3-egg recipe. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yep.
The 3-egg recipe, because it gives it more rubbery. You want more rubbery,
Okay.
because otherwise they'll get soggy.
And it falls
with all
apart.
that. Yes.
We want to try to put some of that dough together.
Let's do it.
All right. So the way I'm thinking about doing this is that you kind of give me instructions. I already reviewed the recipe. I feel like I understand it. What do we do first?
You got to mix the eggs and the sugar.
Eggs and the sugar first. Do you have a special way that you crack the eggs?
No. I do have a special way to deal with them after I crack them, but we won't get into that.
Yeah.
I don't like those little white things in there.
You don't?
No.
Do you take them out for the crepes?
Yeah.
How do you take them out?
I take them out for everything.
How do you take them out?
With a spoon.
And this? Okay, that'll be your job.
Sometimes you can use the shell. But see those little white critters in there?
That'll be your job.
Those are gross.
My wife would have me do that.
My mother called them feathers.
Feathers?
Yeah.
When I first got out of culinary school, and I was at the Four Seasons Hotel,
Which one?
San Francisco. It's called the Cliff.
Yeah, I know that one.
And my catering director came in and started telling my chef about, he saw this gadget on TV the night before, and it was an egg separator, because I was making creme brulee at the time. It was an egg separator. This is a gadget that you just pour the egg into, and it automatically separates the yolks from the whites. And my chef looked at him and said, "I have one," and pointed at me. I was his egg separator. So I will be your mixer.
Works.
All right, now what do we add?
Now we need to add some sugar and salt to that. We got a little bit of sugar, but
That's
Did you
the
measure?
salt. Yes, ma'am. I did the two
Two.
teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt.
Right.
Yes.
see, these crepes are, some recipes call for sweeter crepes, more like 2 tablespoons of sugar.
Yeah.
I would never ever do that, because then you limit yourself to how you can reuse the crepes if you have leftovers.
That's right.
And so if you have leftover crepes, you can do anything with them.
See this little mark?
Yeah,
That's to remind me of that salt.
thank God.
But you're not supposed to tell anybody that. That's my cheat code.
You didn't have to tell me about that.
No.
I trusted you.
That's right.
Looking good. Now at this point, you can start adding the milk and flour
Okay. Alternatively.
alternatively. That's what they recommend. I usually just dump it in the blender.
Feel it. Okay.
Did you warm the milk or something?
No, I cooled it.
Oh.
You think we're
Well,
gonna
you've
get
worked in some mighty fine places, kiddo.
a few? I've worked at all kinds of freestanding restaurants and a bunch of fancy hotels and wineries and
That's awesome.
all kinds of stuff. I think I'm probably gonna, just because I have the hand mixer here, I'm gonna do it to make sure that we don't get any lumps in this thing. I'm gonna cheat.
You don't have to be so delicate.
I thought this would be a little more fun. What do you think?
I mean,
Do the whole thing?
this can be more masculine. Yeah, definitely.
All right, I'm going in.
You can just go for it.
All right.
Drive yourself crazy.
All right. So, regarding the flambe aspect, I went and did a big event with a bunch of fancy people at a big New York high-rise, and I brought one of those butane burners.
Yeah, that's what I brought. They brought it. Went down to you.
Yep, and I set off the fire alarm. We had to evacuate the whole building with 100+ guests.
Oh no.
So now
That sounds like something my sons and I would have done at one point in time. That gets to another story on that one.
now what we do is we use an induction burner. So
Well, I had one of these. I have one, and I didn't. I don't even know how to use it.
you know how this thing works? It's
No,
with
this
magnets.
doesn't get hot, but this does.
This gets hot.
The pan gets hot.
Yeah, this does not. It's just residual heat. But the pan is going to get super hot. And so we're going to turn this guy down because it's very hot.
We need to put a little butter in there. This is your. I want you to do it. I want to see if you do it. You
All right.
told me you've got all these fancy credentials. I
Listen.
want to see some credentials here.
All right.
But when you get them in there, you can turn it with your fingers.
Okay.
Now, why is that doing that? Make noise? Because I'm taking it off the
Yep.
thing.
Because it doesn't get hot unless that pan is sitting on top of it. There you go. So maybe we got to turn this thing up a little bit.
Well, yeah, for sure from there. We want it
About
to bubble.
320.
We got a little too much butter in there.
Do we? Here, watch this. Put it in this.
We don't want to wait.
No, I won't waste it. I'll just put it in there.
Now remember, your first pancake doesn't have to look like a shining star.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
It's still going to taste good. You give it to the person that you least like at the table.
All right. You tell me when.
Well, you know how much to put in there. Just
We're just going one spot.
yeah, because we're going to turn it. You might want to go a little bit faster.
Okay.
See, this is where the butter gets. This crepe is going to be not as pretty as the rest of them.
Not as
That's
pretty.
okay. That's okay.
Okay.
This goes to the person misbehaving at the table.
That's right.
It doesn't look bad for a first one, I promise you that.
I'm pretty impressed with myself.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good for a first one.
But all I'm
Normally they
doing-
look like something off of a
All I'm
dragged
doing,
off of a.
all I'm doing is following the recipe, though. So.
And the recipe is excellent, isn't
That's
it?
And that's all that matters. That's the hardest part about cooking is writing the recipe.
Yeah, that was the hardest part. Because I don't write down instructions.
I hate writing recipes.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
so
be.
hard.
You have to kind of be precise.
Yeah.
Not, by no way you don't bake. I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's true. That's the first one. This for the person we don't like. Okay.
When you got it.
But it tastes good.
Well, it's gonna.
I think you were trying to sabotage me by putting all that butter.
No, I wasn't trying to say. I wouldn't do that. That'd be ugly. See, this is gonna be a little more symmetrical.
Yeah, see? Because you're doing it.
Well, this is something that.
That one looks perfect.
Easier.
And it's got a little bit of brown butter. It was going to be a brown butter
And
crepe.
a little taste to it.
Yeah. I have some of the filling already made.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
And this is the cream cheese
And sour
and the sour cream all ready to roll. No pun intended. I was going to do them brown side down or in. So you fill the brown side and let the lights on the outside. You like the brown on the outside? Okay.
I think it looks more special.
All right. Well, let's listen.
So you're going for elegance here.
Yeah, I was going a little more finesse
Yeah.
or soigné, but we'll go for the
Do that
rustic.
for your grandma.
All right, we'll go for the rustic. And you roll them just about like that.
Perfect.
Boom.
Just like you roll cigars.
There you go. I'm going to put this guy here.
You know, I cleaned that copper pan. It's had some mighty use.
Yeah.
With ketchup.
That's how we did it in the Navy. That's
you
how
use ketchup?
Yeah, we polish our pots and our copper pipes with ketchup or Tabasco.
Isn't it? I didn't know about Tabasco.
Yeah.
But that's just fun little information. So flour and vinegar and salt.
And salt. And the salt is just for the abrasive.
Yeah,
but
just
the flour and vinegar.
Scrub power.
Yep. The flour and vinegar is essentially the same thing that you do with
the ketchup.
With the ketchup.
But you don't have to worry about the flour.
That's right.
That's cool. And that's all you need.
That's it. And
They're
then
looking good. They're looking very special.
And then you need some young, new cooks that you make polish with that stuff. Because I ain't doing it. Because I ain't doing it.
Yeah. Well, it's like my sons. I taught them how to do everything, and including baseboards.
Nice.
They were a lot closer to them than I was.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a fun thing to do.
Well, listen.
They were down there with those little dust rags, they were running races about who could clean the most baseboards. Talk about making mom happy.
That's it. We're going to leave this here.
Yeah, those are looking like they're supposed to look.
And
Things
then
are looking up.
We have all this strawberries. I was wondering if you would do it sliced or like quartered. Sometimes I like to just do them like this.
They will hold so much water.
When you do them like that?
Well, the strawberries have a lot of water in them. What you're trying to do is cook those strawberries fast and mean.
Yep.
In a hot pot so they don't weep too much, because you're going to want that sauce to thicken up with the sugar and the butter. The sauce needs to be thick enough to maintain a top that will not allow the alcohol to seep in there. You want it to be not so porous.
Yeah. So how do you do that? You reduce it once the liquid.
Reduce it with sugar and butter. Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. So you add sugar to make it a little thicker.
And I've even thought, I've never done it, but one of my next things to try is using a little bit of brown sugar. I thought little caramel.
All right. Now once that thing's hot, I'm gonna go in with the butter.
And then we need to cook the butter and sugar just a little bit.
Yeah. Before you add the strawberries.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we want to get the pot nice and hot so those strawberries don't sweat too much.
Yep. I'm gonna leave a little bit of this sugar for last. What do you think? Am I doing all right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's hard to mess this up this far.
All right, this is gonna get hot super fast now.
It's gonna get hot, but we just need to keep cooking it until it kind of clarifies a little bit. Then we're gonna slam those strawberries in there.
All right. So now we're gonna do the strawberries, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it won't hurt. It's just caramel.
Yeah. And then the strawberries should stop the cooking a little bit of it, yeah?
Yeah, and then it'll start weeping a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, if you did it right, if you served it like right now, it'd be good.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not like a stage you got to get to before it gets good.
Butter, sugar, and strawberries. You can't really go wrong with that, right?
It's like a win-win.
Look at that sauce that's turning red. It looks good. All right, we're going in with some bourbon. What do you think?
This is where you need to be flaming.
All right, you ready?
There you go. There you go. It'll just burn off.
All right.
Is it off yet?
We're going to dress the top of this guy.
You're more elegant than me. I just dumped it on there.
Dump the whole thing.
I would have been a little less precise.
We'll make it look pretty, and then I'm
It looks pretty.
And then I'm going to go in.
It's looking pretty. See, that sauce is just right. It's just the right thickness, don't you think?
Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. So I think we do 2 per.
Yeah, 2 per.
I think so.
We need somebody to try them.
Somebody's going to have to try them. I don't think we're going to have to twist many arms. I think we're going to taste with spoons. But before we taste, we got some chef hats. Do you know what the pleats in these hats represent? You ever heard that?
Mm-mm.
The pleats in a chef's toque. This isn't quite a toque. This is a funny toque. But the pleats in the chef's toque represent how many different ways there are to cook an egg.
An egg?
Uh-huh. You never heard that?
Serious? No, I didn't know that.
know, that's what they told
And
me.
those are with feathers.
That's
They don't even have my method.
that's it. No,
We gotta add another damn.
that's
we
one.
gotta- we
That
have
that's
to add another
that's this
plate.
one right here. This one
We need a
represents
new
on the,
plate for
the egg with no
featherless.
feathers. That's right.
See, they don't know about that.
They say any style. They didn't know the feathers were coming.
I'm anxious to try the bourbon
Me too.
aspect of it. It's good.
Okay, I'll let you taste first. Otherwise, I wasn't gonna.
I
do it.
just did. You're going slow, buddy.
I like that bourbon aspect.
See? But you really can't tell. And it's obviously not.
Oh, we're going back in for second bites. Must be good.
We'll need some coffee LA.
That's good stuff.
We need coffee LA.
And one beignet.
This was fun.
Very fun.
Especially when somebody else does the cooking, I'm all in.
That's it. Thank you.
Are we done?
Thank you so much. Can you give a hug? That was fantastic.
We had fun. As long as you're having fun, you can't screw up. Well, you can. but- I want to know who's got the little thing.
The marker.
Action.
That's
Lights,
David.
action, camera. And action.
And action. There you go.